This is the show where we, a group of friends, a group of good old pals, get together and play through a game together every week, coming back and discussing everything we've played, sort of like an old-fashioned book club, but with video games. Just in case this is your first time here, this is the Pixelcast Game Club. My name is Bryan with a B, and I'm your host. Joining me is Ryan with an R and Ian with an I, and we are currently playing, slide please, Metal Gear Rising. This is episode number 1. We've played through the prologue and episode 1 in the game, and we'll be discussing that in a moment. But first, slide. How we doing this morning, boys?
The I is very important to me.
Yes. Well, I figured I didn't want to leave you out because it's Bryan with a B, Ryan with an I, Ian with an I. I messed that up.
Yeah,
It's too
Ryan
early
with
anyway.
a Y.
No, it's Ryan with an I. Rian.
Oh, I'm Ryan.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm from Ireland. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. Holy shit.
Andrew Ryan.
I'm doing good though. Just tired. Got my coffee, but I'm ready to go.
Same here.
All right, good. I'm glad we're all jazzed. If there's no preamble to preamble, no amble to pre, let's go ahead and talk the plot of episode 0, episode 1 of MGR. Slide please.
Big boy plots.
Big boy plots. 4 years after the story of Metal Gear Solid 4, the story finds Raiden, who is both a warrior and a philosopher, having joined up with the private security firm called Maverick as he tries to promote peace and protect the weak. Slide. While helping to rebuild an African nation ravaged by civil war, the Prime Minister, under the guard of the PMC, is attacked by a rival company called Desperado, taken hostage by an exceedingly large boy with a southern accent. And now that I think about it, his design kind of has the same energy as like Fisk from Spider-Verse.
I'll bet.
Yeah, kind of.
But we fight to chase him, and the big cyborg, whose name's Sundowner, sticks a Metal Gear Ray on us, who is part of the boss ensemble from Metal Gear Solid 4. Big robot. So it's kind of rude, but it is a neat boss fight to start the game off.
Yeah, but so me, Metal Gear noob. So when this thing jumped on screen, the guy in your little ear, whoever his name is, said something about
Morris,
like
probably.
Yeah. He said something about like, what? They have a Metal Gear. Like, is that like is Metal Gear? Is that what that is? They're just robots?
Yeah, Metal Gear are effectively giant war machina intended to cause mass destruction and giant political scandals just by even having them.
Oh,
This is a minor Metal Gear, generally. This is in terms of the Metal Gear robots that have been in the series, this is a more mass-produced one. Usually they are a little more, let's say, unique, specific, even bigger. So this is just a little taste of what Metal Gears can be like.
Oh. I thought this thing was already fucking huge, and apparently you're saying there's bigger ones.
Oh yeah. There's they get real friggin' crazy, man.
Oh, interesting.
After we pile drive button mash it into the floor, we manage to catch the kidnappers as they hop onto a train out of the city with our client in tow. But unfortunately, we do not get to him in time, and our client expires. That's the picture in the bottom left. Sundowner gets away while we lose a duel to a new guy named Jetstream with the sickest quick draw I will ever see in my life.
Yeah.
Boris, our boss, and the rest of Maverick show up to save us before Sam can finish us off, and we live to fight another day. Time skip. How do we like the Ray fight and the prologue as a whole? Do we feel like we understand what is happening?
Yeah, I mean, like in terms of, I knew what I was definitely walking into, so it didn't really surprise me much that I literally just picked up an entire giant robot by my hands and flung it around and threw it. So I honestly wasn't surprised, but I was still very amused.
He parries the robot. He grabs it, and then he spins around and throws it. That's how much strength he has.
It's like,
yeah, he gives it the hammer toss, bro.
Yeah, it's like some Kratos shit, pretty much. But I was actually, one thing that honestly did kind of surprise me. Okay, like I knew that you were literally chopping dudes up into like giblets, basically in this game. But like
Right.
it still kind of surprised me as to how like brutal the game actually was.
Hmm.
Like even when he kills the prime minister and just like sticks a sword through him, and then he just like lets him fall off the freaking
Oh
train,
yeah.
and he just brutally slams the floor
Yeah, it
as
just yeah, it
I
just
was like
slams into the
oh
ground.
my god, this I was like, this
It's
game's
like
pretty
it's like
visceral.
it's like a couple of good tone setters are like Jetstream Sam straight up taking the APC gunner and just slicing him in half,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, I remember
then
seeing that. I was like,
and then
"Oh."
slicing those halves into smaller pieces as he flies over his head. Little unnecessary, I thought. Man's already dead. Um, and then before they execute Namani, who is the name of the African prime minister,
Mhm.
like Sundowner taking his big like machete
Oh,
and like
yeah,
running
that
it
part.
below the guy's chin.
Yeah, yeah.
This man is brutal, but that's that moment right there is the writers telling us, hey, this man is extraordinarily cruel.
Oh,
um
and the part where he has the machete and he folds it up to make the scissor blades so that he can
mm,
cut that dude's head off.
Oh, that's
yeah,
right, that's right.
When you get that perspective of him and it like
Yeah,
disconnects,
yeah,
it's also worth
like some
mentioning.
cyberpunk shit.
yeah,
Also, Brian and I noted that Raiden is very good at bleeding and not dying.
yeah,
How he
uh
fought Jetstream Sam with one arm and one eye and managed
True.
to not die the whole time. I mean, he
Yeah.
is a cyborg,
yeah,
obviously,
yeah,
but
yeah. Like I bet there's like anti-trauma routines in the
Mhm.
way muscles, and we're reading too far into it at this point, but
Definitely.
there's some in lore justification for it, I am sure.
Mhm.
um
Nanomachines.
Nanomachines.
So,
Spoilers.
in terms of, like, gameplay, because this is my first time playing this, like
Yeah,
we've just mentioned,
yeah.
it does feel pretty smooth in a way where, like, I like how, when you're fighting the Metal Gear and, he's, like, firing rockets at you and you're literally leaping off the fucking rockets towards him and
Oh,
Mhm.
stuff.
yeah.
All it
Yeah,
is just a simple hold right trigger,
yeah.
move forward, ninja run type thing.
Mhm.
But it's so cool.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
But
and
it's
it just
so rad.
yeah, yeah, and even in the tutorial section when like, oh, you're leaping across these little things, oh, you've jumped through this window, slide under this, and it's all done just by holding a button and running forward, and then the game just takes care of it for you by yourself,
Mhm.
Mhm.
which is pretty cool. Um, the game it doesn't. You guys kind of talked about this back when we were playing Resident Evil 4. Like lots of times the game doesn't like hold your hand that much. Like yeah, there are tutorials, but like I had to like press pause and go, "Oh, there's like a help and like a moves list and oh
Mhm.
shit, there's an
Yeah.
entire list of like combos and stuff. I didn't even know that were here."
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
so and then it also came to cut well and yeah, we get that in in chapter 1 when you get into like into the customization and all that,
Mhm.
but yeah, like at first um because they also from what I remember they didn't tell you how to lock on to characters. I had to find that out in the control scheme. I was like, how do I lock on to motherfuckers?
Yeah, you
Do I
kinda have to
not?
Mhm.
fiddle around with it.
Yeah, and you just press R1 or yeah, right bumper or something like that.
Mhm.
Okay.
um Also, shout out to Xbox for just allowing me to put an Xbox 360 game into my Series X and I could just play the game like nothing. It's great.
Nice.
Nice.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Backwards
Thank you
compatibility.
to Mr. Microsoft. I expect our checks in the mail this week.
We can move on to the next chapter now.
Yeah. Okay. So this is chapter 1. Later in time, some non-zero amount of time forward, we are contracted to stop a coup in the nation of Abkhazia.
Mhm.
Raiden is deployed alone, but he gets a cool new body after getting trounced last time. There's a
Mhm.
beautiful beach, and we fight some cyborg troopers and discover that Desperado, the same PMC that F5'd us in unnamed country in Africa, is supporting the coup here in what I assume is Eastern Europe. We fight troopers, geckos, which are the guys on the right.
Mhm.
Helicopters, we have a chance to rescue a dude, but it's kind of super hard. And then we go to our next boss, Blade Wolf, but real fast. Um, Never mind, we're already moving on to Blade Wolf. Okay, so on hard mode, this took me a good fistful of tries. Slide, please.
Oh, okay.
How was it for you guys? How did
Uh,
you how did you find a Blade Wolf? Easy, hard? Clear,
He
unclear?
he was fine for me because at this point with Blade Wolf, I had pretty much gotten down parrying.
Yeah.
Um, Parrying was like kind of weird to me because
Yeah, a little bit.
from what I read in so the way you parry is you just basically the way I helped me understand it because I was like, do I just like press X at the right time? But basically, you can confirm if this is right. You basically flick the stick and press X in the direction of the enemy that's about to hit you, right?
It's
Correct.
pretty accurate, I'd say.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I that's what was like kind of confusing me because at first I was like, I was constantly running around, and whenever someone's about to hit me, I thought, oh, my analog stick is already moving and pointing towards him, and then I would press X, but it wouldn't parry. So like I would have to, is it like a flick thing? So what helped me understand in my brain was like it's like a jumping attack or kick in Dark Souls
That's a
because
really good way to put it.
yeah. So for Ryan, because you're not much of a Dark Souls player, in order
I
to
think I know
do
what you mean.
yeah, in order
I
to
played 2.
yeah, there's you could do a jumping heavy attack or a kick, which is either the kick's the light attack, the heavy attack's obviously the heavy attack. But in order
Yeah.
to do it, you flick the stick forward and press the button at the same time. So that's what helped me understand parrying. And so, like I said, it's just you gotta just kind of like finagle with the game little bit, play around with it, just to kind of understand what it's trying to do, I guess. So at this time, going back to Blade Wolf, at this time I basically had parrying down finally because
Yeah.
there's a few encounters and stuff, especially with those two. What are those things called? The
The
freaking
guys with the frog legs, those are called
yes, yeah,
they're called geckos.
the thick
Yeah,
the thick legs.
the encounter before Blade Wolf does have
Yeah.
a scenario where you could be fighting multiple geckos at the same time.
Yeah, because I died to those things a couple times because
Yeah, me too.
I wasn't understanding the parrying mechanic, but
Yeah.
They're pretty tough. Pretty
yeah,
tough.
they basically made me understand the parrying mechanic, and then I was like, okay, and then from there, once Blade Wolf came around, which was a cool fight, I liked Blade Wolf's
Mhm.
fight. I didn't die to him because yeah, I got the parrying down, and I thought it was a really fun
Oh.
You
fight.
didn't die to him at all?
No.
God damn. I died.
Nice.
Me and Bryan, I think, both died like 5 or
Okay.
6 times to him,
Okay,
right?
Oh,
so the story of how I continued to die to him was because so he would do that charge move where he flies at you, right?
Yeah,
And you parry that, which means he sets up for like that One Punch Man bit where he's just dodging from side to side
Mhm.
so fast he looks like a blur. Like he'll go left right, and then he'll fly at you. But the way the AI places those jumps, he tries to get out of your screen. He tries to make you turn around and rotate the camera to find him for that last pounce. And every single time he would, because I guess what I should have done is run myself into a corner while he's winding that up so that he can't get out of my vision.
Mhm.
But Bryan says unlocking the secrets to that boss fight a day after he's beat it. But every time I would rotate my camera as he would hit me, and in hard he'll chunk you for 20-25%
Mhm.
with that. And I swear I shit you not, I have a recording. I'll put a clip. I'll put a clip at some point in this series where he just nailed me with that 3 or 4 times in a row
Mhm.
and just took me down to 0. Like of like I parry the first charge and then he does the wind up and grabs me and then chunks me and then lather, rinse, repeat, and I die. Like, oh man, on hard this was hard, but that's basically what I signed up for.
Is this
Like the game is pretty generous with pickups, and I
Yeah.
think on my non-first playthrough of this game, I understand way more about how it works, so I'm gonna waste a lot less stuff. But it's actually kind of refreshing. Like the game is tough,
Uh-huh.
but in not a frustrating way. I mean, when your inputs are that important, you feel jank a lot more,
Mhm.
and there are definitely one or two, like when your inputs are so important and the stakes are so high in terms of health and damage, like you get a much more defined sense of things feeling like they're your fault or not, right?
Mhm.
So like there were a couple times where fighting the geckos, I would hit the parry wouldn't happen. Standing position, no other animation to interrupt. I'd hit the parry wouldn't happen, and I'd get hit, and I
Hmm.
wouldn't understand why it didn't go off. Like to my brain, everything's here. All my ducks are in a row.
Yeah.
This should parry this hit, and the parry doesn't even trigger at all. So I get kicked, so I get grabbed, so I get RPG'd, so I get grenaded. It's
Yeah.
they combo really well with each other. But like and the boss fight that happens later, like getting chipped or bopped by people you can't see, very frustrating.
Mhm.
So you're supposed to be aware, but that being aware of that of your surroundings would also be easier if the camera wasn't constantly resetting, which really yucked my yams in and in stealth gameplay of like trying to track someone as they're moving across.
Yeah.
And then I start moving with the left analog stick, and then the camera resets, so I very gently into someone else's cone of vision, and I set the whole team off. I'm like,
Sick.
but that you feel that kind of stuff, which is why I remember them. They're very memorable moments. But you get a much more well-defined sense of that
Mhm.
in hard mode, when you basically just get a better sense of like, hey man, that wasn't my fault. Fuck you.
So is this both your guys' first time playing on hard mode?
I am playing on normal, but
Oh,
because
okay.
he wants to have a good time.
Yeah, I understand.
There's definitely a curve that I'm like dragging myself up as I'm playing this. I am enjoying it, but that's because I crave suffering. I think it makes me wise. That's not that's not something anyone has to do.
Your goal is to become that long white bearded gamer who played every game in hard mode.
My goal is to be Paimei, and I'm gonna get to the end of my European extreme pacifist only 45-hour run of a 12-hour game, like fucking Master Oogway sitting there like, peace. Monkey.
I
Painful.
did skip forward a little bit because I was trying to keep up with the slide.
Yeah.
But you did say something in the script where you said peep that soundtrack. And yeah, the fucking soundtrack to this game is a slapper. That is for fucking sure. Holy
Yeah,
shit.
okay.
Yes.
Okay, so pay really close attention when you're fighting a boss. I mean, maybe don't pay so much attention that you lose to the boss. But all the bosses are separated into three phases. With Blade Wolf, he'll hop onto the ledge and a woo for help. But a woo. Every time the boss fight transitions, the music will transition as well. And in the last section of the boss fight, the lyrics will kick in, and all of the lyrics for all of the boss fight music is about the character as a whole. Like the lyrics for this one are about like what is the self, finding purpose, and all that stuff. And this character,
because that's what he talks about, like briefly before it's like
is an AI boss. So all of the lyrics for all the boss fights are gonna.
What's the meaning of life?
Right.
Raiden's voice actor is so fucking corny. It's great.
Oh, it's
by the way, that's Quentin Flynn. He's the voice actor for Jin in League of Legends.
Really? Well, he's definitely gotten a lot better.
Hey, don't talk shit about Ryan's voice. Come on.
Okay. So let me tell you something. The stilted campiness of these performances is abso-fucking-lutely intentional.
It's
that is
necessary.
part of the direction. like it's like Leon delivering the line, "No thanks, bro." Like, "No thanks, bro."
Yeah.
Like, the way he's delivering the line, they picked that. They elected for that tone, for that performance. Like, this stuff is not 100% dramatic, 100% serious.
Yeah.
So it's like when you say he's gotten better, I'm almost a little offended, bro. He's fine. It's fine. It's fine. for Metal Gear
It
Solid. This ain't
occurs to
Mass
me-
Effect. This ain't fucking Last of Us. This ain't a fucking David Cage
Yeah,
game
and I
delivering
know.
Martin
I'm
Luther
not.
King quotes.
I'm
This
not
is a fucking Metal
expecting
Gear
that.
game.
It occurs to me
Oh, it's got a lot better. Oh,
there's a vocal performance in the next level after the one that we already beat
Mhm.
that must be intentional because of just how bad it is. I'm
Uh-huh.
referring, you know who I'm referring to, Brian, the small
Um,
person.
the small person. Oh no.
Oh,
Oh
the
Yeah, you know
no.
what I mean.
the
You know what
small
I mean.
people always get the crazy voices like Salazar.
Yeah, so
You're
It's
right.
like, well,
Hand
it's
comes
like
off.
it's like okay, well, it's like, all right, you're under 5 feet. Guess you're fucking crazy.
Yeah. Here's my fucking mecca that you have to run away from.
um, I was gonna mention something about like the music and how like the last stage of the boss always like the lyrics kick in and stuff.
Mm.
I was gonna say it makes you feel like when you're watching like an anime. You know how when you're watching an anime and there's like a big like fight
Yeah.
scene in like a very climactic episode where the music is literally just the music
Yeah,
from like the opener or something
from the main
Oh,
theme.
sure.
Yeah.
from the main
Yeah.
theme, and so now you're like, oh, shit's getting real.
Yeah, it totally.
You
it
can
totally
it's like the
you
same
can feel
thing.
the
Totally.
budget. Yeah.
Mhm.
You feel the budget creeping in.
That's that nice Sakuga, bro. All right. Okay, so that's Blade Wolf. All right, moving on. After a tiny existential crisis, we head toward the refinery with the leader of the coup. A bloke named Dozayev is holed up. This is where we fight dwarf geckos for the first time, and
Oh, man.
there are some optional stealth parts. But then we fight another boss, and this is Mistral, a captain in Desperado who has a rad design, rad animations that might be a bit janky, but maybe they're just kind of old. Rad music. The mini geckos are annoying as heck. But we
Yeah.
managed to put her out by asking her what killed the dinosaurs. Everybody together.
Wait, what?
The Ice
Yes,
Age.
Yeah.
Wait,
we-
what? Is there something I'm missing?
We
Yeah, you know how you
we-
feel Mistral?
we freeze her to
Oh,
shatter her.
I forgot. I forgot that you did that. I'm sorry. Woof,
Forgot
right
the
over
ancient
my head.
texts.
I forgot how she died.
Yeah. The way that I always do it is that when you got her, when she's real frozen, looking up at you, you always go for the neck. You always get that clean cut off the head.
Oh yeah.
It's always so satisfying.
It's like anytime I see like something like someone getting frozen and then you shatter the shit out of them, it always reminds me of what's that movie with Sylvester Stallone? Encino Man, right?
Mm.
No, that's not Encino Man. Demolition Man. Demolition
Yeah,
Man.
yeah, yeah.
Demolition Man's the
Is-
one.
is
Demolition Man's
Man Arnold Schwarzenegger?
no. Demolition
No,
Man's
that was Stallone.
Sylvester Stallone and Wesley Snipes.
Taco Bell's taking over the world.
Yeah.
It's like Cyberpunk, but somehow more shitty.
Why do I remember Demolition Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger? No, definitely Sylvester Stallone. I'm looking at it right now. And
Yeah.
Wesley Snipes. You guys have it right.
Yeah.
I don't know why I remember that so wrong.
Encino Man's the one where the
Is Brendan Fraser.
Brendan Fraser, and he's a caveman that gets thawed out and hangs out with 2 high school kids.
Oh, Schwarzenegger is the Running Man.
That's right. Yes.
That'll do it.
But yes, Encino
Running Man
Man.
also takes place in 2019, by the way.
What the hell?
The past had no scope.
Doesn't Blade Runner also
for-
take place
for-
in
for
2019?
apocalyptic futures? I'm not gonna look it up. I think so.
2015?
2020 something.
Oh, god damn it, I don't remember.
Blade Runner.
Yeah, I thought it was 2019.
When does it take place? Well, it was released in 1982. Thank you.
A
Oh,
side note. Granted, I hated those stupid little hand things. The little what are they? What are the little things running around?
dwarf geckos.
Yeah. But I felt really bad for that dwarf gecko, the one that she just like steps on and rips his arm. I was like, oh.
Yeah, that guy got destroyed.
Um,
Like she doesn't even crush it. She splits it in half with how sharp her metal fucking stilettos are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Very interesting boss design. I thought it was really cool, and I love how when games do this, where it's like, oh, like they have some sort of history or something, and but you as a player don't know that history at all, and
Mm.
then you fight them and they're dead.
Mm.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
kind of had
so
to sum it up all at once.
Yeah.
yeah, which is why I like that's why I feel bad about the bosses in this game because all of them are super fucking rad.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so the DLC for Blade Wolf and Jetstream Sam gives you more characterization. It's a prequel DLC for Sam, and I don't know when Blade Wolf takes place, but
Mhm.
for Sam's DLC, you do get more interactions with the characters. You get a little bit more history with them, which is good because I like these characters a lot, and I am happy that there is a place to get more of them that isn't deep diving into the fucking concept notes and behind the scenes and making of stuff of all this cool nonsense that didn't get into the game because this is a platinum game. We can't afford to have 45-minute cutscenes. Kojima.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This game, she's just going to be built different and with uh with different demands and different constraints and different goals for this gameplay and story. Like the bosses are going to be one of the things that the story is going to be light on, and I think it's tragic, but it's what the game is going for, and I think it works well.
Mhm.
I think my
Okay.
favorite song is in the Blade Wolf DLC, and I have never played it.
I've listened to the
Okay.
soundtrack many times, but I haven't played the game again.
Right.
I'm definitely gonna pick up the DLC, and maybe we'll stream me playing it so you guys can still experience it. Anyway, so her fight has multiple phases. I really like her weapon. It's very strange and very
Yeah.
very cool. She
Mhm.
uses it as a whip multiple times.
Yeah.
It's very inventive. Her animations are pretty cool. I beat her first try because I don't think she's
Yeah,
as
me too.
punishing as Blade Wolf, which is weird. Um,
The dwarf geckos drop health boost.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's really easy to not.
it's
Yeah.
it's very easy to sustain through that fight. Got it.
It is annoying having to deal with those stupid little
Oh,
geckos and like
absolutely, yeah.
like
They'll
you
grab you
say,
every now and again, yeah.
yeah, like you say, the camera recenters. And so
Mm.
like and you don't want it to because I'm trying to like position the camera so that I'm attacking the little geckos, but also can see her off in the distance. And then the camera just like recenters and I'm like, no, like cause like she's like charging up an attack or some shit, and I want to be able to parry that when it comes in or something. So you literally have to like position yourself so you're looking at her and fighting the geckos at the same time in a way. So that was a bit annoying when it came to this boss fight because especially in the last phase when you're on the ground, like in this, I believe this is the last phase right here in this picture.
Yes, the
She
base of the
does,
refinery.
yeah, she does that like attack where she like spins across like the base like 4 or 5
Mhm.
times,
It's
like in
it's
your
it's kind of
direction.
hard to see that one coming if she starts that animation off screen because you're focusing on the gecko.
Exactly. Yeah. So that was a bit annoying, but I feel like without the geckos though, the it might have been too easy probably. Like, that's like the part like you just
Yeah,
have
if
to
if
work
if
with.
she was the only one you had to focus on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I think Platinum understood that like, hey, this fight can get super annoying because the geckos are going to come from off screen if you're focusing on Mistral, or Mistral's going to come from off screen if you're focusing on the geckos. So I don't ever remember taking that much damage at once
Yeah,
from
true.
anything she threw out,
Yeah.
which is nice. There were a couple moments where I got pretty low, but no deaths from cheap shit, and no hits that took enough damage that I felt like I was being punished for something that wasn't my fault.
Hmm. Yeah, makes sense. But it was a fun fight,
Yeah.
regardless.
You know what
It
would be interesting?
does very
A
good job making you feel like a badass. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would love a boss rush mode like that fucking Sekiro inner
yeah,
bosses
like the Sekiro stuff. Yeah.
stuff to just fight these bosses over and over and over again would be a treat,
Hmm.
because the boss fights in these games, in this game specifically, are super choice, super
Yeah.
chunky, and I can't decide if Blade Wolf is good or bad because of because of all that stuff. But then of course I might just be bad. That's a
That's
possibility.
most likely what it is. No, I'm just kidding.
Shit. Um,
I have a factoid here. Mistral's voice actor does Hunnigan in Resident Evil 4.
Whoa!
that is very true.
Hell yeah.
She plays this character with a French accent, but that is absolutely correct.
Mhm.
Um,
Okay,
okay.
whoa. Hold up.
Huh.
Hold up. Why is
What?
there a hand on her crotch right in this picture?
And because character design is multifaceted,
and one of the hands is like cupping her boob.
two of them actually.
They're
Both
both
hands
cupping.
are cupping your boobs. All right. So maybe I selected this picture without looking at it too carefully. I was like, all right, cool, concept art, put it in the show. And I maybe
I don't think
both
it's
of
worth
those need to be
worrying
censored.
about.
It's
It's funny.
okay.
I'm not
So,
throwing a fuss about it. It's hilarious.
okay, so to explain why concept and modeling poses her and treats her in this specific way, so in Metal Gear Solid 4, there was a series of bosses
she's just
called
protecting. That's all she's doing. She's
Yeah,
protecting.
yeah.
She's
She's
protecting
being
the goods.
modest
She's
in a
protecting the
skin
goods.
tight leather mech suit. But to explain the kind of not origins, but the flavor of her design, there was a series of bosses in Metal Gear Solid 4 called the B&B bosses. They were the Beauty and the Beast bosses.
Okay.
They were okay. Kojima's not great at writing women.
No, not at
so
all.
so they were thin, sexy, crazy people who wore skin tight leather outfits and had an anima motif that all took after bosses from the first game, and they wore like the way her rig looks on her chest without the gecko arms in it. They look a lot like that, and they do this kind of
Oh, you're right.
sexy, stocky, obsessed with snake kind of thing. And if
Yeah.
you get a non-lethal takedown on them, you go to a weird psychological liminal space where they will dance and shake their butts, and
Oh my
and
god.
you can be there and look at it for as long as you want. And Kojima's a mastermind apparently. So
Dude,
man,
I can't imagine like, all right, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do non-lethal takedown. This happens, and then everyone's like, okay.
Yeah, put it in the game.
So
You heard
man,
the man.
I could write probably a good amount on how Kojima's writing of female characters, and there's a lot of armchair psychology you could do, but
Mhm.
but that's why she kind of has this tone. And that's not to say that sexiness in character designs is wrong, right?
Yeah.
It's
No, of
to
course not.
it's like it's to argue that when it's in service of the character, it's perfectly fine. Evelyn in League of Legends being sexy reinforces a lot of things about that character, and
Yeah.
it's really well done.
Kind of like Ari
Like,
is Ari
yeah,
too.
yeah. But Ash wearing a crop top and a skirt to fight in the coldest place in the world doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like
Nope.
there's a tasteful, productive way to do it, and there's an untasteful, unproductive way to do it. So here, this is kind of a middle ground. No, it's not super much of a middle ground.
There,
We don't see that much of her in the game, so there's not really a whole lot of examples to pull from of does it contribute, does it not contribute.
Yeah.
They wanted Mistral to present a specific way in the way that she moves. They gave her heels, come on. And
Well, and they kind of gave her like
and the way that the hands move around her it's specific. I don't really have the design analysis education to talk definitively
So-
thing good, thing bad.
I could at least like the thing that like kind of irks me about her design is
Yeah.
not really her sexiness. It's how
Yeah.
she has all those arms and then
Yeah.
doesn't use any of them.
That's
But
true. She doesn't really use
the-
any of it.
The point of the arms, though, from what I can tell, is that she is really good at like making the dwarf geckos synthesize, and
Mhm.
she uses their like combinations for a combat purpose, which is more in the giant spear staff thing that
Mhm.
she can turn into a whip arbitrarily. But
Yeah.
that's kind of more or less how that works. I also assume that Nico Robin from One Piece is very influential in this design here with all the arms.
Yeah, with the red hair and the arms. Yeah, okay.
I mean, her design, the boss design looks sick too. I wonder if there's some sort of undertones of like there's definitely like some sort of like dominatrix sorts of undertones with it as well.
Yeah, I suppose that's true, too.
Especially since like she starts to have like kind of like a whip at the end, basically.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't think you're wrong.
Yeah.
The stilettos are definitely helping in that
Yeah.
regard as well.
But I mean, like, you know, I think it still looks cool, but it's just always the thing with when we always talk about that Kojima's portrayal of women and stuff. I remember I never knew anything about that until like MGS5 came out with Quiet, and I was like, wait,
that
what?
was
I was like,
that was a very weird thing. When you
Yeah.
find out why she runs around butt naked punching tanks, you're gonna feel bad about thinking that she's attractive. And it's like, she doesn't exist in a vacuum, dude. She was written. You
Yeah.
wrote her like that.
Yeah.
Oh, even
you,
like
you decided that she would do that. No one. That's not a fact of nature.
And the
It
thing
didn't
is,
just
like,
happened to her. She was written.
I remember seeing something about like you can get like different costumes, and there's actually like
Yeah.
a cool like military grade looking like costume you can get for her where she's fully clothed and decked out in military gear, but it's like the last costume you can get for her, and it's like really you have to do like a lot of shit to get it, and it's like,
Yeah.
well, it's like, well, and then once you get it, you can't like, well, I'm pretty much done with the game, you know?
Yeah, you don't really have a point to it.
Yeah.
Even as early back as Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, the lady companion you have in that game, Ava, her entire point narratively is to just fuck Snake and to bear his offspring.
Yeah,
And-
like
Jeez.
both for her mission, and also as a human being who wants to bone and be boned. Like, her being sexy is a part of her character. Like, it's written in and it works.
Yeah, and then even further earlier, you got Meryl in Metal Gear Solid 1, who's the look
the
of my butt
redhead
because
girl, right?
yeah, whose butt is important. And you need to look at it because it'll serve the plot later on. Please memorize this butt.
But like, Quiet's role in the story has nothing to do with sex.
Uh-huh.
Literally zero things. So the cutscene frames her in a certain way. The story frames her in a certain way. The writing frames her in a certain way, and it's objectifying, straight up. And for Kojima, we're taking a long time for using Mistral's design. As a,
We're
as a
We
doing
are.
our
going off, like-
dissertation
We
on
are.
Mistral's
yeah.
legs.
We're going off on a big tangent. Again, the moral of this lesson isn't sexy bad. Is if your
Hey,
character
listen.
is sexy for no good reason, maybe
In-
tone it down a bit, bud.
Objectively, Mistral, thing good, I would say. Thing
Yes. Overall passing score of thing good. Because I guess there can be a lot that goes into a design that's like, maybe a previous version of the boss fight. Maybe there was a boss rush mode, or like boss rush like attack where she used all these fists to punch you, or maybe she like wrapped them around her chest,
like Azura's Wrath, just like punch you infinitely more
Totally.
times.
like maybe she wrapped herself in them to keep you from hitting them, and you had to Zandatsu to open her up for damage. Like, there can be a lot of artifacts of previous iterations of design that make it all the way through, because it's fucking cool. Like, her design is really, really memorable, and it creates an interesting silhouette, and she's the only female boss. So I think her being memorable is important. And I think she's definitely my favorite boss. But all that stuff, all that design talk aside, man, it'd be really fun to just put all of the bosses side by side and just talk about them. Maybe we'll do a boss roundtable.
We'll do a boss tier list.
A boss tier list. Top 10 bosses in Metal Gear Rising. Number 1.
Let's just
Number
get this
6
out of the
will
way.
surprise you.
Mistral S tier.
She's high up. I like her. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, so we talked a lot about Mistral's design. Good amount about the boss fight. Okay. when you transitioned out of stage 01, did you go to Raiden customization?
I believe I did. Yes.
Okay. Do you know that you can buy her polearm as a
I
secondary
I
weapon?
did I did see that, but I was like, I want a sword, so I just kept the sword.
Okay, so one thing that you should know is when you buy it and equip it, it replaces your heavy attack. It replaces your triangle, your Y.
Okay.
So
You can
that's
still
something
use
that,
your sword as well
yeah.
alongside it.
Or your sword, I think, is always your light attack,
Oh, I
but your
see.
heavy will change depending on what you have,
Okay, then I'll probably check that
what you have
out.
equipped. And I think it's also cheap. I think it was like 10,000 gil
Battle
rubles,
points.
Rubles,
battle point,
coin,
BPs,
septums.
10,000 British petroleums. Um, uh, okay. So this is information from the previous slide that we didn't actually get get through to because we wanted to talk about Mistral. So we snatch her radio. We get contacted by Dolzaev, who's the guy we're here to kill. He tells
Yeah.
us that he's going to blow the refinery along with himself, and Raiden can't really stop it. But the coup is over because, well, duh, he does it and he blows himself up. And we get distracted. The country, Abkhazia, recovers pretty easily, as we learn from the codec conversations later on. Our organization isn't blamed for the attack. So Dozaev didn't really make much of an impact in the end, like Tears in Rain. Okay,
Ayy.
so this is more concept. This looks like really close to final concept art for Jetstream Sam, Mistral on the right, and then the middle one is he's IQ 84 when he's the one on the bottom, when he's the boss. LQ 84I, pardon me, I just read it.
hmm
And then he's Blade Wolf later in the game.
hmm
So spoiler, I guess. He makes another appearance. So this is just cool concept art that I found. Okay, so any other closing thoughts for this section, which is prologue and Mistral? Any other stuff that we wanted to talk about or gripe about or praise?
One thing more on like actual like combat and
Sure.
stuff, like getting
Hit me.
basically just getting used to it. So there's like lots of things where I can't remember that there's certain, I'm not sure what uh what's the word I'm looking for, activates it, but there's times where like you press, I think, what is it, uh like X and Y or Y and B or something at the same time.
It's Y and B.
Y and
That's
B.
the
Yeah,
it's top and then right. Those
yeah.
are the two prompts.
And so, and then like you do some sort of like execution move. I'm not exactly sure what like
What
activates that or what cues it. I don't know if
what the
it's just,
conditions are to get
yeah,
that.
yeah. So I'm assuming it's just, oh, this guy's health is pretty low, and if you parry them within that low state, then you can do like a finisher move or something like that. I don't know, but it happens sometimes, and uh it's sick. But when I remember when I was, you do like a cool like flashy move, and all of a sudden, and then it
Mhm.
slows down, and
Yeah.
has that blue hint and everything.
Yeah,
And it
the
took
screen
me,
flashes blue to tell you, hey, Zandatsu here.
yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. But it took me a moment to realize. I was like, wait, is that just some sort of cool like slow mo? Like, yeah, you killed this guy. Or I've quickly realized, oh, I have to go into, what is it, blade mode? Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
Yep. Blade
that's
mode.
From
what it's
that,
called.
and then you can cut the motherfucker up like in the middle.
That
And
same thing happened to me on my first playthrough. I was like, why is it slowing down like that? Is that just a
yeah.
cool like John Woo thing? Like, oh no, the game is trying to tell me something here.
Yeah. So once you got the hang of that, that was sick. And then once I upgraded writing a little bit, I was happy to finally get more like launcher combos, stuff that launch guys into the air, because I love shit like that. And
Mhm.
Mhm.
I was actually playing Miles Morales last night, and I was like, oh yeah, you can like launch people
Oh,
in the air.
the heavy double kick that
Yeah.
just sends people straight up into the fucking sky.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
move always feels good.
It's so good. And so I was happy to find out more about that, and also just learn more about other combos that you can unlock and stuff.
Mhm.
And then I was happy to get I was like, oh, thank God you can unlock a fucking air parry. Because there's
Mhm.
lots of times
Yeah.
where I was jumping and I got hit by shit because I couldn't parry yet.
Yeah.
Then
So
you get, sorry, go ahead, go ahead.
so just a quick note. A lot of the stuff in that move list will be solutions to mechanical problems, like
Yeah.
certain kinds of enemies or certain kinds of moves. It will just be way harder if you don't have the right move to do it. So that's part of the function of that expanded move list, is to give you a bigger toolkit to deal with stuff.
Yeah.
But that becomes more important later on.
Then you get the you find that those little computer terminals that give you those little VR missions.
Yeah.
And so that was sick. I was like, I forgot, what do you get when you complete those?
I think you get a big hefty BP bonus,
Mm-hmm.
and I think you might get customizables or unlockables like concept art and music.
Yeah.
They
They said, and they like, at least with the first two that I played, like they kind of teach you new things too. It's not all
they teach you how to apply mechanics in ways you might not have
Yeah.
thought of, or they might just be straight up challenges.
Yeah, exactly.
They're fun little places to play around, and I like the VR space because it's visually distinct from drab in Africa or drab in Eastern Europe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I like those a lot.
A lot of browns and grays. Yeah, they are a lot of fun.
But yeah, it was just one of those things when I was just playing through this game. At some point, like it just kind of it clicked. You know, it was the same
Mhm.
thing with God, everyone always bring this up. But it's like Dark Souls. But it's the same thing. It's just so different that like
Metal Gear Rising is the Dark Souls of Platinum games.
then the but it's just like you're playing it, and then it just clicks. Like for some reason,
Yeah,
like there's something
works.
that's weird with you that you're just
brain
not
gets it.
getting it, and then at some point your brain gets it, and then by the end of chapter 1, when you're fighting off a bunch of mobs, I was successfully not getting hit a lot. I was parrying almost everything, and I got the combo meter like up pretty damn high as well. So it's all about, you know, getting that that flow down with the combat. That's very satisfying once you finally have it down.
Yeah, when this game works, it flows and it feels good.
Mm-hmm.
In a very Dark Souls way. And just a disclaimer, MGR is not the Dark Souls of Platinum games.
No.
Calling something the Dark Souls of anything, it's just letter soup. It means nothing.
It's played.
How do you
out
guys
too
feel
much.
about Crash Bandicoot and the platformer of Dark Souls?
My brain hurts.
Crash 1 is the Dark Souls of Crash games.
Dark Souls is the
No.
Dark Souls of video games.
Viking is the Dark
no,
Souls
dude,
of
and
athletic. No,
I'm not fucking joking. I'm pretty sure you can find an article around the time that Crash Insane Trilogy came out, and it talked about like, I'm pretty sure there's literally an article out there comparing Crash to Dark Souls. I'm not kidding.
no, there is.
No,
People
there
made-
absolutely is.
People made mock covers. So you know the original Dark Souls trilogy covers?
Yeah.
They edited the text and they put, as a response to that article, they put Crash 1, Crash 2, Cortex Strikes Back, Crash 3, Warp, but in that Dark Souls font. I'll have to show you guys sometime.
Crash of the First Sin.
Yeah, basically.
All right. Okay. I think next week. If that discussion ends. No, this is the ending slide.
Oh
Look,
no.
Wrap it up.
Next week, make sure to play 02 and 03, which are named Research Facility in Mile High. Oh, okay, never mind.
Sorry, I didn't know the last one was the last one.
The last one was an ending slide. Okay. All right. So next week, we're gonna play 02 and 03, which are called Research Facility and Mile High. Hey.
Wink.
But hit me with that next slide, please. All right, everybody. That is our show for this week. We are the Pixelcast, and you have been a pleasure. Want to make sure that everyone has a good one, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye, people.